Hey guys, well next week there's a new Hellraiser movie, Hellraiser Judgment, coming out, and I'm going to be reviewing that movie as soon as I see it. But I thought before I review that, I'll review the other Hellraiser movies, starting with, of course, the first movie. So the first Hellraiser movie, this came out back in 1987. It was directed by Clive Barker, who's a very, very talented horror filmmaker and writer too. Is like he also wrote Candyman. He also directed Nightbreed, another good horror movie. But this, I actually think, was his best movie. Like this is this is basically about this guy who purchases this puzzle box, and then when he gets home, he opens it, and then like these demons called the Cenobites come out of the box and then kill him and bring his soul to hell. And then after that, years later, that man's brother and his wife, they move into the old house, and then basically it all begins right from there. Like the husband cuts his hand and spills some blood right in the room where his brother was killed, and then that blood starts bringing his brother back to life. So like he's coming back all skinless, like a bloodied up, rotted skeleton looking guy, and he needs more blood to become whole again. And so the man's wife, who we actually found out is an unfaithful wife, like she had an affair with her husband's brother years ago, and so she's helping him by picking up men on the street and bringing them to the house so she could kill them, and he can collect like all the blood so he can become whole again. So that's basically the premise of this movie. And also the main guy's daughter also gets involved in this whole thing. She's played by Ashley Lawrence, who's pretty good in this movie. Her acting is actually very good. Actually, to be honest, everyone's acting I thought was actually pretty good in this one, so I have no complaint about the acting. I also really do like the atmosphere, the gore effects, the music was all top notch. All the makeup, like for the skinless guy, is pretty good. Like he actually looked very real looking. All the practical effects before like CGI took over, and of course, as we can see, Pinhead, who's the most famous Cenobite, was also really awesome. He was like the best thing in the movie. He had the best quotes. He was actually the most scary one out of all the Cenobites. Although technically I did think the Cenobite with the big teeth was also pretty creepy looking as well. So this was the best one in the whole series. Yeah, so it's sad to say that none of the sequels were better than this one. That's not to say that any of the sequels weren't good. Some of them were, yeah, but some of them, not so much. But this one in general was the best one. I mean, the only gripe I had is that Pinhead, who's on the cover right over here, is barely in the movie. So, I mean, I'm just glad that this movie's not called Pinhead. It's just called Hellraiser, because, it's not like he's the title character, and therefore he's barely in the movie. But however, he's on the poster, but barely in the movie as well. So that's the only gripe I had. So it was mainly set around human characters. But the human characters were likable though. They were interesting characters. I'm not sure if I should say likable, but they were interesting. So yeah, I'll take back the likable thing, but they were interesting characters. So, and the performances, like I said, all of them did pretty good. So I did keep my interest though. So despite Pinhead's barely in this, the human characters were very interesting, and the last, the ending of the movie was just amazing as well. Basically it went all out, all hell broke loose during the end, so I really loved the ending. So Clive Barker did a very good job. This is his best movie. I did like some of his other stuff too, though, but this was his best movie, as well as also the best Hellraiser movie. And that's really all I gotta say. So that's it for the review of the first Hellraiser movie. I mean, I like the first Hellraiser movie. It's one of my favorite horror movies of the 80s. And stay tuned as I review the other movies. Okay? See ya.